the road trip. It's freedom. It's exploration. It's about new experiences. And this road trip has been brought to you by Pioneer Bonus Bucks.
Welcome back inside Quest for the Cup on CFMU 93.3, airing out of Hamilton, Ontario. Do It For Doczy was an event that happened this past Friday as well at the Seymour Hanna Center. It was Do It For Doczy night. In case you're not familiar with the backstory, maybe Amanda or Scott, tell us a little bit about the backstory on why this event exists and kind of why it's important to bring up on this show.
Yeah, the Do It For Doczy campaign basically came about. This amazing hockey player came over from the Czech Republic, playing professional hockey over in Canada, completely apart from his family, just going for his dream, and he ends up getting diagnosed with melanoma, and this cancer spread throughout his body. And the problem was he also wanted to go forward with schooling, and he wasn't exactly covered for all of his treatments. So the Do It For Doczy campaign raised money so he could get the right treatments to cover all of the treatments that he needed. And this melanoma spread throughout his body, to his lungs, to his brain, to his lymph nodes. It got really insane. So this is kind of a comeback story about a player and a person who is just described as a true competitor. So we have Jeremy on the line.
Yeah, we have Jeremy Knight, who is the, I call him the eyes, ears, and voice of Brock Badgers Athletics right now. He is hockey and basketball play-by-play, also works in the Brock Athletic Department. Jeremy, how are you this morning?
I'm great. Thank you guys for having me.
Anytime, buddy. We wanted to get kind of your perspective as someone who is local in the area and has been around both of these teams in the events. You have done hockey play-by-play previously and been around the team. So maybe paint the picture a little bit for us, what it was like on Friday evening.
Absolutely. So as soon as this campaign really took off around early mid-January, this one game was targeted on Friday night, and the hope had been that Brock would secure a playoff spot before then, and then this night would be all about Milan. It ended up going the other way, and the team didn't win a game in January. So Friday night was the last home game, and it became do or die for making playoffs. So on top of this big fundraiser for Milan, it became a rallying point for the team. And leading up to the event, community members were really hyping it up. We were expecting a big crowd. It ended up being over 1,100 people showed up.
Wow.
Which is really good for Brock hockey. And then on top of it, a couple hours before the game started, Milan received the good news that an anonymous donor had agreed to pay for the rest of his treatment that hadn't been covered yet by the fundraising campaign. So then he was able to go in the locker room ahead of the game, tell the team the good news, and then ended up rallying them. They won, I believe, 7-2, and it helped them clinch a playoff spot. So the event really helped the team on the ice just as much as the team is helping Milan through this really tough time in his life.
I bet you could probably have that feeling throughout the whole stadium. I mean, everyone in that stadium, if I was there, I know I probably would have been in tears, but I'm just one of those mushy type of people. But was it just electric throughout the whole stadium?
Yeah, I imagine the rink was pretty emotional, was it not?
It was, and Milan did the ceremonial puck drop before, and that's when they announced the crowd who had already filed in about the anonymous donor. And our PA announcer, Rod Mahood, who does the Ice Dogs, and he's one of those consummate professionals, he started tearing up when he was reading the announcement, and I think that really resonated with everyone in the arena. The best way I could probably liken it to anything that I've seen happen before would be Saku Koivu night at the Bell Center in Montreal. Different circumstances, of course, but it was one of those feelings where everyone felt this connection to the guy on the ice, and you know, at the same time, he is a university student, and I think that's one of the reasons why this campaign really hit home for a lot of people, because he's just like you, I, anyone else. He's a 25-year-old undergraduate student. He just happens to play hockey as well. So I think on Friday night, when everyone was in the arena, they could see him on the ice. It really just capped off the entire campaign, and having the good news to share with everyone, and also that earlier in the week he heard his cancer hadn't spread like he feared it had.
Right. And he had 2 job interviews on Friday.
Yeah, he had 2 job interviews
in
Friday
Toronto
morning before this event.
In what he's trying to accomplish with his finance or commerce degree, was it?
Yeah, he wants to be an investment banker on Bay Street in Toronto, and that was one of the reasons why throughout this he didn't want to go back to the Czech Republic. I know it could have been an option, perhaps, but he is still a full-time student at Brock right now. Last week I saw him in the hallway going between classes, and you're just thinking, man, like, if that was me, I'm not sure I could do that. So the strength he's shown through this is remarkable, and on top of it, he is the first European CHL graduate to apply for his education package.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, he was literally living on a couch because he didn't have funding from the CHL to go to school yet. And he fought and he fought and he fought and ended up getting through that as well. So the perseverance he's shown in the last 2 years is remarkable.
So I know that you've been in athletics, kind of doing media things. In athletics, you just have a sense of family. And with Brock, this has just been one of those incredible stories where it really ignites that sense of family. What has Brock been doing? Like, I know you guys have the Do It For Doczy campaign. You've been selling bracelets, T-shirts. Can you kind of just tell us all the packages and where people can kind of outreach their own support? Absolutely.
So sports one of those things where everyone's a big family, and this campaign's been no different. The athletic department, along with the Owen Sound Attack, which was his Ontario Hockey League team, started the campaign in December, and it's been wristbands and T-shirts that we've been selling at Brock. And as a department, it's given an opportunity for other students to get involved. So, for instance, on Friday night at the hockey game, the volleyball team was selling T-shirts, and we ended up selling out of those within an hour. There's T-shirts all over campus. The university's actually selling them as well. The wristbands, everywhere you look, someone's wearing a wristband or a T-shirt. The campus bookstore has one too, the T-shirts for sale. It's just been a really big rallying point for the school, and the circumstances are so bizarre that it's a foreign student who plays hockey. His medical coverage won't cover the treatments. Like, there's so many things that added up to make this what it is now. And the university's really responded well, and they've gotten on board with it, and it's allowed other students to see, okay, I can give $5 to help out here. And the website's still up right now, doitfordoczy.com. But, yeah, the anonymous donor who came through on Friday really has made this a feel-good story in the end, hopefully. I know the recovery rate right now is around 80%, they told him. So hopefully that obviously works out well. But in the meantime, there's still bracelets available online to order at Owen Sound Attack games. I think you can buy them too, and of course at Brock.
Yeah, and it seems like Brock and first of all, you should tell us what your Twitter account is, because it follows a lot of different things happening at Brock Athletics.
Yeah, my Twitter's at J_Knight94.
Okay. Yeah.
Brock is one of those places. There's around 15,000 undergraduate students, and it's like a small town community. It's in St. Catharines, obviously, so it is a relatively small area, but I don't know what it is. It's just a really big community feel, and we've sold out 2 basketball games this year, and both times it's been one of those things where you feel like you're at something a lot bigger. It's not an NBA game, but the atmosphere is very similar.
Yeah.
So I think athletics at Brock, for whatever reason, has just hit the mark with a bunch of students, and this campaign's been able to build off that momentum.
Yeah, that was actually my next question for you, was about how it seems like Brock's able to pull together more than many communities that seem kind of disconnected from their cause and the people from various athletic departments and parts of teams and coaches and all of that. It seems like it's a very well put together group, but you are a consummate professional, Jeremy, so you answered my question for me without me having to do any work. I appreciate it. I also want to come forward and just say I'm the anonymous donor. I'm not here
so that's why you wanted to have me on?
Yeah, I'm not here for the credit.
Let you break some news.
I only wish.
I'm not here for the credit. I don't want to, it's not a big deal. Guys, it's fine. No, it is pretty amazing though that somebody was able to step up and help me land out in a moment of absolute need. And also, you and I were talking last night, Jeremy, it made the Jay and Dan podcast.
It did. I think that's probably the biggest media coverage that
Brock's ever had, aside from Mike Hasty, brother of Scott Hasty.
Yeah, no, I can't remember CIS school or anything having name dropped on the Jane Dan podcast before, but the media coverage from this was incredible. And, you know, when you search up something on Twitter and a couple days after stories happen, usually it sometimes shows up, but if you look up Milan Doczy right now on Twitter, there's still articles being retweeted and posted. Everyone's loving this story. Sean Fitzgerald from the National Post is a big part of that, and he posted a couple articles last week. It's made TSN, like it's just taken off in terms of the media coverage, and I think that, at the end of the day, is what ended up perhaps finding the anonymous donor.
Yeah, it is a great story, and we're very happy that you were able to talk with us this morning about it. Hopefully everything goes well. If we have anything we'd like to check in on Brock Athletics about the awesome community that you are a part of over there, Jeremy, we'd love to reach back and talk to you again, okay?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. That was Jeremy Knight of Brock Athletics, a guy who is pretty well entwined there. Again, not a big deal. Don't want to take the credit, but, you know, I had some money laying around, and it's fine. I feel for Milan.
CS football bucks, man.
Yeah.